right, I have 132-ounce bag of tater tots. Doing 8 eggs. He's gonna love this breakfast bake. I have this crumbled sausage and bacon. Good combination of both breakfast meats. Breakfast is my absolute favorite meal of the day. I love tater tots because they're like cylinder hash browns. All right. Spread that. Now I'm gonna do an 8-ounce cut up brick of cream cheese. And I'm actually just gonna take these, kind of place them on the top like this. I know you're probably gonna wanna mix this dish, but you could always do it after you bake it. But I'm just gonna kind of put these right here. This will kind of melt and spread out while it's baking. Now I'm gonna do a little pink sea salt. Not too much, because there is a lot of salt in the breakfast meats, just a little bit. Do garlic powder. Garlic powder goes good in everything. I like a lot. Some minced onion. A little bit of black pepper. I don't know how to use this thing. All right, that's good. I don't know how to use it. Now I'm gonna add about a cup of milk because you do need some liquid so the tater tots don't dry out. Pour that over the top. All right, perfect. Now, of course, you need some shredded cheddar cheese. I wasn't planning on using all of that, but I guess I am. I'm gonna take this, spread it all over the top. Oh, looks great so far. Now I'm gonna do a little bit of green onion. So use the rest of that. All right. Now you're gonna put this in the oven on 350 for about an hour. Takes the eggs a little while to cook. All right, we have our breakfast bake up. Now if you remember, we had our tater tots in here, kind of like our hash browns, our cubes of cream cheese. What I like to do, so you're not eating just a bunch of cream cheese, is kind of mush these out now that it's out of the oven a little bit. Kind of put it all over the top. That's why everybody gets some. And like I said, you're not just gonna bite into a huge cube of cream cheese. All right. I'm gonna serve myself some. Doesn't that look good? Bacon, sausage. All right, guys, first things first. I am taking some brioche bread and laying it in the bottom of a 9x13 greased baking dish. Now, it's a lot smaller than I thought, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take one piece, rip it up, just kind of fill out the little holes that are here. It doesn't need to look fancy on the bottom. Okay. So I'm gonna take this, set it aside. Now in here, I have 6 eggs. You could do as many eggs as you want. It's not really a measurement in this case because it's just gonna be, I don't know if you could tell I'm making a French toast bake. So I'm gonna add a little bit of milk in here. Again, not really measuring, just kind of using my eye on this one. You want to do a little bit of vanilla. Yes, a touch. That's good. Now I'm gonna give this a quick whisk. I absolutely love French toast. It's one of my favorite things to have for breakfast. It's very easy to make. A lot of people do cinnamon, and sometimes I do, but for this time, I'm actually not going to, and you're gonna see why in a moment. So I'm gonna move back that to the side, put that right back there. And now I'm gonna take about half this batter and I'm gonna go ahead and pour it over our bread. Now I know a lot of you, what you're thinking right now is, why didn't you just soak the bread in the egg wash? But I don't want to get my hands all gross and nasty and everything like that. So I'm just gonna do it this way. Now what's important with French toast is something I've learned when I made it before. You don't want to soak the bread. You don't want it soggy. You kind of just want to, in this one for example, just kind of get the bottom, get the top, just enough on it. Pour a little bit on the side so it gets on the bottom a little bit. All right, perfect. That already looks good. I could bake this and eat it just how it is. I'm very simple though. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna add some frozen berry medley. You could just do one kind of berries if you want. I like this because it's a good mixture. Why not have some fruit with breakfast, you know? All right, that looks good. The reason why I'm using frozen, not fresh, it just works a little bit better when you bake it. Got raspberries, blackberries, blueberries, strawberries. Got all the berries. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and, a little bit earlier, I made this whipped topping. I used a little bit of cream cheese, powdered sugar, and vanilla. It's one of my favorite steps. So what you're gonna do is just kind of put a little bit in the middle of each one. I'm not trying to make this breakfast like a dessert, so I don't want to do too much, but I think it's a nice touch with the fruit. You could do Cool Whip if you want. That's another option I've seen people do. I just really like this whipped topping. I think it goes really well. And then you almost either don't need the syrup or you can, whatever you want to do. All right. So just a couple blobs. And this will melt once it's baking, so it'll kind of spread out on its own. That's why I'm just kind of doing little individual ones. You could kind of, I guess, spread it out a little bit, but it'll all melt on each one. All right. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take another layer of brioche bread. And again, you could use whatever kind of bread you want. I like brioche because it's already kind of got a sweetness to it. It's pretty thick too, which I enjoy on my French toast. And again, for this part over here, I'm just gonna kind of rip this in half, put this right there, and that right there. And you're gonna kind of wanna press it down a little bit. You don't wanna completely flatten the bread, but you want everything kind of sticking together. All right, now you're gonna take the rest of your egg mixture that you made and you are gonna pour it over the top. And this is what really seals in that French toast bake. What I like about this really thick bread, it really, really absorbs this egg, the milk, and the vanilla. Just gonna kind of spread it out on top. I'm really excited about this. I'm really, really hungry and this is gonna be great. All right, so that looks good. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this, bake it on 350 for 20 minutes. All right guys, I just took this out of the oven a minute ago. Still probably pretty hot, but looks really good and smells good. So now, and go ahead and serve myself some. Get this out. Look how good that looks, guys. That looks amazing. All right. Now, I know it's kind of sweet already, but I like to add a little bit of syrup. Who doesn't like syrup on their French toast? All right, guys, as you can see, I am cutting up some English muffins right here. I already have some in the pan. I am using sourdough because that's my favorite. You could use the regular ones if you'd like. So I already did grease this 9x13 baking pan. So I'm just gonna take these, spread them out a little bit. Making an awesome breakfast bake today. So now I'm gonna take some Jimmy Dean cooked sausage. Feel free to cook your own sausage. I just figured this was a little bit easier. It's already cut up. Saves you a lot of time, a lot of work. Just gonna use, I don't know, about half this bag. I do like a lot of breakfast meat in my food. You could also use bacon if you'd like. Now, shredded cheese. Take some of this. Again, I'm not gonna use all of this right now. I'm gonna save some for the top. So I'm just gonna go ahead, spread this out a little bit. It's a very easy breakfast to do. You could do it the night before and leave it in the fridge too and just pop it in the oven in the morning, which is great. So now I'm gonna set this aside. I have 4 eggs here. You could always use a few more eggs too if you want, but eggs are kind of expensive right now, so I'm just using 4 right now. I have a cup and 1/4 of milk right here. I'm just gonna pour that in. Now you wanna season these eggs a little bit, so I'm gonna use a little bit of sea salt. Just to taste, do as much or as little as you want. Use some black pepper. I'm not that big of a fan of pepper, but it does make the eggs taste really good. Now I'm gonna use mine favorite, which you've seen in other videos, is garlic Parmesan seasoning. I love this stuff. I know it's not really a breakfast type of spice, I guess you could say, but I think with the garlic and the Parmesan, it does really well with it. Now I'm gonna give this a quick whisk. You guys are gonna love this breakfast bake. Breakfast is my favorite food. It's so easy to do it all in one pan. That way you don't have several different pans making bacon, eggs, toast, all this other stuff. Literally put everything in one pan and just bake it that way. These eggs look good. Take this back. Now I'm just gonna take these eggs and pour it over. This already smells really good. I'm excited for this. I'm really hungry. I haven't had breakfast yet. So this is gonna do the trick right here. Now I'm gonna add my favorite, if I could turn it around, chopped chive. I think chive, you could also use green onions if you want to. I'm not a huge fan of onions, but I like the flavor that they leave, and chives are they're kind of like baby onions. So I'm gonna do a sprinkle of that. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more cheese on top because why not? Can't go wrong with more cheese. Just a little bit more, nothing crazy. All right, now I'm gonna take this, bake it on 350 for about 30 to 40 minutes. All right, I just took this out of the oven right now. You can let it sit and cool for a little bit, but I'm so incredibly hungry, I can't wait anymore. Remember, we have our cut up English muffins in here, our cooked breakfast sausage, some cheese, put a little bit of chive on top. Oh, doesn't that look amazing? Eggs cooked nicely in there, soaked up in the English muffin. This is gonna be a fantastic breakfast. Now, some of you are gonna think I'm crazy for this, and I probably am a little bit, but something I'm gonna add to my serving, you don't need to put on the whole thing. I like a little bit of sweet with my breakfast, so I'm gonna drizzle a little bit of syrup on top. All right, I'm starting off with 8 eggs here, and I did put a little bit of green onion in the bottom of the bowl. And I have a 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream. I'm going to add some triple cheddar cheese. About that much. I don't know how much it is. Use as much as you want. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. Some pepper. Again, use as much as you want. I'm gonna give this all a very good whisk. It's a lot thicker than I expected. All right, that looks good. I'm gonna take this, set it to the side. And I have a can of crescent dough right here. You could use pizza crust, pie crust, whatever you want. I like using this because it's a little bit thinner, very flaky. I feel like it just goes good with this breakfast pie that I'm doing. Unroll it, and as you can see, there are gonna be some holes in it because these are crescent rolls. But what you could do is just kind of make your own pie crust. Doesn't have to look all professional and fancy because literally just gonna be the crust. All right. As long as everything on the bottom is closed. Now, I'm gonna take this Black Forest ham that I have. I just had some extra stuff in the fridge and I feel like this would go really good in there. I'm gonna take this, place it on the bottom. Four pieces. That looks perfect. Now I'm gonna take this mixture that I made with the eggs, the cheese, the green onion, and I'm gonna pour that over the ham. This should be just about enough. Okay. Exactly enough to fill it all the way down to the top. Now I have some bacon that I had in the fridge. She's just gonna do a layer on the top, kind of like the top crust. Awesome, quick and easy breakfast. All right. Now on the top, I'm just gonna add some more cheese. That's good. Now lastly, I'm gonna do some more green onion on top. All right. Now very important, you're gonna cover this with foil, bake it on 350 for 45 minutes. All right, I just took our breakfast pie out of the oven. I'm gonna serve myself a slice. Hopefully it comes out. Now look how good that looks.